Hello, everyone. This is Ayush, your host for the webinar, and welcome all of you to take out your time and connect together today again for listening to this new webinar of ours, Chatbots and what can they do for your business. Chatbots. So, what are chatbots? I'd like to start with that. Chatbot is a program that allows basically to deliver automated customer support, e-commerce guidance, content, and interactive experiences through the messaging platform. So that's sort of a technical definition, but to put it in layman terms, I would say, as you can make out, chatbot is chat with a bot. So basically, chatbot would mean any chat that you can do with a robot, with a platform that basically connects to you as a human chatting with you, but basically is a machine, is a program running behind. So that's what a chatbot is. Facebook Messenger chatbots. Now, why the big buzz about chatbots? Chatbots have actually existed since some time. In fact, it's been about 2 to 3 years that we have, in fact, been working with chatbots for different platforms like Twitter. But Facebook Messenger came up with chatbot and released the support for any developer to build chatbots on Facebook recently this year in April. And that's where everything changed because now basically with the Facebook billions of users currently connected on Facebook, anybody could build a chatbot and engage with users that are there on Facebook. So how chatbots help? Chatbots, first of all, are conversational, which means that like today's world where anybody could have to request a service through calling a person or going through different menus or let's say downloading an application, everything of that sort is actually eliminated. Chatbots make it really simple to request any service where it could mean that you can just go onto that business page, go into the chat option, type in what you want, and you get it. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to buy pizza. So in a current scenario, you actually have to call Domino's. They would ask you the different options. You would give them what you're looking for, and eventually you are able to order. Or the other way would be you download their application, go through the different menus, go through different screens, and then you are able to uh, order the pizza. But with chatbots, what you can do is just go to Domino's Pizza Facebook page, go inside, say hi. It would ask you what you're looking for, say margarita pizza, and it would ask you your details. You say, okay, I live blah 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 in this address, and that's all. Your order is placed. So you can just think how easy and how efficient it becomes as compared to the long processes that we have been used to. So to put it in perspective, chatbot basically help you to eliminate manual work. There's no delay in response. It's private and secure because it is powered by some of the best companies like Facebook and Twitter, and you don't have to install any new application, which is quite a headache for any business as well as user. There is no storage required. There are more engagement compared to traditional, and there is less workload for your backend teams. So how really chatbots work? I mean, to put it into more of a technical representation, this is how a chatbot diagram would look like, where on the right you could see the chat interface, which is basically connected to the web server, where all the logic and all the rules of the program stays, and they are powered by NLP and AI engine, which are different alternatives are available for you for the developers. Like they could use Wit.ai from Facebook, or they could use IBM Watson from IBM, depending on what they are looking for as the end result. And then it is all connected to a database. It is all put up on the cloud or on the stored on the individual server. That is an individual choice. But what usually the architecture that we recommend is using the Amazon services, which work perfectly smoothly with the chat. And we could use elastic load balancer to basically balance like multiple chats and multiple users connected, as many as users could connect smoothly with the chat. And apart from that, we could endorse it further by using Amazon CloudWatch alarms, Amazon SNS notification, SES email, and the Route 53 hosted zone. So this all could be put together to basically make sure that whenever a user types in a query, he gets a response within less than a millisecond. So that's the sort of optimization that can be done with the architecture. And an analytics dashboard can, of course, be added, which can be used for a business to capture insights into the chats that are happening. So Domino's could basically use this analytics dashboard and find how many and what kind of pizzas were really put to order through the chat, how many pizzas were put to order with from a certain pin code area, how many orders needed an additional human wrap to basically connect and discuss and stuff and so on. So, major applications of a chatbot revolve around any product or service discovery platform, which is like any e-commerce platform. If it requires user to come on and go through the menu or go through the various items displayed, then a chatbot can basically be useful in those scenarios. Chatbots can be useful in any scenario related to ordering any stuff, in anything related to customer support where user has to come in and put on his query, which could be about the platform, use of platform, book something and stuff. Banking can be a huge sector that could be benefit from chatbots, where people, as they have become used to using applications, now eventually could actually use a chatbot. They can even get authenticated using a chatbot by sending a OTP or typing in a captcha within a chat. So all that is possible. Trading is another sector which we are counting really high to benefit from the chats, because anyone can basically now come on the Facebook chat and ask the bot, okay, what are the best 5 trades for today, or what how is my portfolio working, and the chatbot could take in his number, authenticate again with a OTP or something, and gave him how his portfolio is looking around. And then news is another sector, news and media, which have huge application with chatbot, where till now people have to basically go through all the news. With chatbots, they can actually request what news items they are interested in rather than the news that they come upon. So that's how a chatbot can help. Some limitations, of course, come with any new platform, and with chatbots, it has to do more with user experience and usability, which is something that will, of course, improve over time. But currently, chatbots are marked with lesser options, more digitized options as compared to an option which is like which really gives the freedom basically to the user to put in everything. But chatbots currently have to adhere by certain rules to be able to understand basic text. Like, I'll give you an example. You cannot basically type in what is the best stock of the worst stock in the best case scenario of the worst world. So that would really make any chatbot very confused. You have to type in simple plainer queries like the best stocks or the worst stocks, because chatbot is all based on keywords, and it basically has to capture what text it gets and what rules has been set to respond to a certain text. So that's sort of a thing that is currently a limitation, but chatbots are learning fast and moving fast, definitely. I'll give you certain examples today about how some of the popular brands are using chatbots, like in the case of CNN. So CNN, you might all be knowing, and they have launched a chatbot which you can actually go in on their Facebook page and actually experience it as well. But to give you a perspective, this is how a CNN chat would look like, where it would ask you for top stories for you, or are you looking for anything particular. To give you an example, I have put in something particular. Let's say I typed in latest news. So CNN bot gave it to me the latest news that are going on, like about the refugees. And further, it asked me options about if I would like to read more about it, or I can actually swipe right to left for other news that are available. I further typed in learn more about refugees. So it gave me more news about refugees, again asking me options about if I want to do any further action based on it, maybe meet the family of refugees, facts about refugees, something else, or I want to switch to other news. So that's the sort of a chat that would take place while I'm reading a news. Another example would be of an e-commerce company, say Find. So I went to Find, I put in show me latest teas. It gives me different options. It asks me various options like if I want to view more of that brand, if I want to view more of that product, or if I want to just switch over. So I switched over to shoes. I told him, show me shoes. So then again, it gives me options. I can always swipe right to left for various options. And then within an option, I can go into further details. So that's how a chat. I would hugely recommend that if you're getting interested, you should check out these two handles of Find and CNN and experience chat for yourself. Uh, for one thing I'd like to really mention here is that chatbots are really not just limited to Facebook, but are currently available to be developed for Facebook, for Twitter, for Slack, and for WeChat. Unfortunately, they are not available for WhatsApp currently. Why, you may have to ask Mark Zuckerberg, but currently they are not. I'll just like to give you a glimpse of some of the work that we are doing in chatbots. Like another example, in fact, I'd like to quote where we have been able to, in fact, replace human intervention is the chatbot that we have built for road and fields, where people can basically people who are having any sort of skin or any problem related to cosmetics can basically come to this uh, chat bot and ask for advice. So in the past, people had to go to a dermatologist and he would examine the user by asking him various options to really find what the person is facing and accordingly give a medicine. The chatbot works in the same way that, let's say, a user comes, he asks for, I have an acne problem. The chatbot would basically decipher the problem by asking various relevant questions like how many pimples you're having, what is your skin type, are you a male or a female, and based on all those inputs, be able to recommend the right product. So you can see an expert like a dermatologist can eventually get replaced with the chatbot, such as the possibilities that chatbots bring on. I'll also give you another example of a chatbot for Twitter that we did for Jet Airways, where we made the chatbot so that any person can basically use the Twitter handle of Jet Airways and request services such as no flight status. So anyone can just type in and tweet flight status and the flight name and the flight departure time and date, and he would be getting the status of that particular flight. Similarly, he could actually ask for low fares. He or she could ask for booking the flight, inquire about customer support, and discover various services. Another similar chatbot we have done is for insurance conglomerate by the name Bajaj, which had a myriad of services in insurance sector like car insurance, mediclaims, different sort of incentivized insurances, and anybody can now, using the platform, basically tweet insurance and use get in touch with Bajaj and basically can request insurance at his will. So that being said, these are the some of the possibilities I would say that I've shown you today. But I believe that anyone can basically build a chatbot. Anybody who has got users on his Facebook or on his Twitter profile should use chatbot and should basically be using chatbot to monetize the users, engage the users, and create more opportunities out of the users that they already have. So any brand who, let's say, deals in a commodity that involves regular and frequent ordering can, of course, have a chatbot. Anyone who has a lot of backend resources put together to answer queries or to connect with their users should use chatbot to automate stuff. Then anyone who has got a product which comes with a lot of pre-FAQs and a post-FAQs that today have to be taken up by reps one by one, but questions more or less remain the same, has should be using and building a chatbot. And anyone who has a huge following on any platform, anyways, should be building chatbots. So, how to build a chatbot, and that would probably my uh, end to this webinar. How to build a chatbot. Of course, it's a bit technical in nature, but I'll give you a gist about if you are looking to build a chatbot. These are 4 or 5 things that you need to do. One is you need to figure out what problem your chatbot will be solving, such as would it be answering certain queries? Would it be making some transactions, or would it be engaging with people? So, what exactly is the use case that you are trying to solve? Choose the platform that you are going to target. Let's say most of your users, if they are on FB or they are on Slack or whatsoever, set up a server, set up the program, choose the service to build the bot. Like you, as I mentioned before, you can basically use from different platforms like bit.ai or Dexter or IBM Watson, depending on again the kind of audience you are targeting. If it's more enterprise based, you may go with IBM Watson, while it's more consumer facing, then bit.ai gives better performance. And then your marketing and technical team basically have to come together. Your marketing team has to come to basically give insights about what your users really want, and technical team can help you to build those rules within that engine. So this is how your strategy could look like. A chatbot strategy definitely goes long, and it's a self-learning and always learning platform where you have to keep on improving the rules, keep on improving the response, keep on collecting data, and add more and more services to the plethora of services offered by chatbot. So it's a long-term strategy which you should plan and implement. If you are interested still and you are still with me on the webinar, then I think you should really join our chatbot group on LinkedIn as well. It's one of the most active LinkedIn groups, and it's by the name Chatbot Enthusiast. You can just type in on LinkedIn, join it out. There are very, very interesting discussions that are happening on it, and I believe you would enjoy being a part of it. Apart from this, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. These are my numbers, my email ID, and direct contact to get in touch with me anytime about chatbot. I'm always in to chat and discuss. I have many good demos as well to available with me that I can show you. I can discuss the possibilities, and always happy to explore. So welcome to the world of chatbots with me. This is your host Ayush Jain from Mind Browser, and we look forward that you enjoyed learning about chatbots, and we hope that you would look forward to building a chatbots for your uh, platform soon. Have a good day ahead. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.